Hello everybody, welcome to Heroes of the Storm here on G4G. I am your host, Tired as Shit, and I apologize if I yawn in the video today. Just kidding. It is Napalm Dawn. We're here, like I said, in HOTS, and we're going to be taking a look at Valeera and the Lunar Festival stuff. So, before we take a look at Valeera, let us take a look at what is going on in the shop. Right now we have the Demon Hunter bundle for Valeera. This includes Valeera's default skin and a Demon Hunter outfit for her. Pretty much turns her directly into a World of Warcraft Demon Hunter in the way that they exist right now in Legion. And you also get the Fell Saber, which was the... It is the Demon Hunter mounts within World of Warcraft, and it is somewhat similar to the pre-order mount. We also have the 2017 Lunar Festival bundle, which includes Samuro and Li Ming, the Monkey King outfit for Samuro, which is featured in the trailer for this event, Lunar Li Ming, which admittedly, pretty hot for her. The robe flows, which is really cool. I mean, you don't see it until you turn it around, but that's awesome. And you get the Nimbus Cloud for them to go ahead and float on. It's an interesting effect when Monkey King Samura does it. Last year's Lunar Festival is available, which is Illidan and Jaina, and then Lunar Illidan, Lunar Jaina, and the dragon. I'm not too fond of Illy. Jaina's really cool. Jaina so much reminds me of Willy from Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. She was the entertainer that they meet early on in the video, and they get into the big shootout in the club, and she's chasing a diamond, and he's chasing an antidote, and she joins him in Short Round in their quest after that. So it's I like it, except for the fact that I have Santa Claus Jaina, and I don't really need two cool skins over there because they're both equally cool, and not one of them is that much better than the other. So this one to me is not worth, well, yeah, that one's definitely not worth 13 for me. This one is not worth 25 for me. I would be getting Monkey King, which I would never really use. Lunar Li Ming is awesome.
Do you require the aid of a wizard?
I like it. Everything about it. I think she looks pretty. I love the effect on the robe. I think it is very, very similar to Striker Li Ming, which is kind of sad, but I like it. And the Nimbus Cloud could be interesting, but I can't tell what other colors they have in the Nimbus Cloud, and I can't tell what other colors they have for Lunar Li Ming. If we go over to Heroes, and I pull up Li Ming, she is a master for me, which is why I don't, part of the reason why I don't want to spend the money on it. I like the fact that I parade around with a Master Li Ming, which might make people feel a little more confident when they see me, like, oh, you know, that's not a store skin or basic as fuck Li Ming, that's a master. And I used to use her quite a bit. Not using her that much anymore, but yeah, so that's Striker Li Ming, which bears a high resemblance to the Lunar one, kind of holding the trophy. But that's who I parade around as now, although this is actually my favorite Li Ming right here, the final version of her normal. And then of course there's the Star Princess, which I don't like too much, but I wish they could show the Lunar Li Ming over here so I could see the colors, but unfortunately not. Actually, let's take a look at Illidan real quick. I wonder if they're going to do that for Illidan too, because that's last year. Yeah, so that's there. Here's his colors. That one's okay. I think the final is the best. And I actually run around as this version of him, which is Shondo Illidan. I don't play Illidan that much anymore. I find you can very, very easily have a bad game on him. So let us go ahead and take a look at Valeera. So she is a rogue from World of Warcraft, and she's actually quite a controversial pick. She's been causing some waves being the rogue that was picked from Valeera. So the controversy surrounding her is, one, it's a few assassins in a row. I mean, we've got Samoro, we've got Ragnaros, despite the fact that he looks like a specialist, he is an assassin. We have Varian, who can be an assassin, and we have Valeera, who is now an assassin. And all of those, of course, are Warcraft. So if we look, Warcraft Assassin, oh, and Zul'jin, can't forget about him. Warcraft Assassin, Warcraft Assassin, Warcraft Partial Assassin, Warcraft Assassin, Overwatch, StarCraft, Diablo. Wow. So right here on just the very first page, World of Warcraft is dominating the hero releases. So this is... it has irritated some people. For me, I don't care. I enjoy the game. And I will play who you throw at me, especially if I like them. The only hero in this game that I have not touched is the 3 Vikings. I don't even own them, and I never want to play them, never want to own them. And as you can see here, generally people, unless they're relatively new, and Cho'Gall, which is out of your hands, you have to have friends for it, my people are fairly high. Varian is a little low because he's new, and Zul'jin is down at 6. But other than that, you know, I play heroes quite a bit. And for a little while, Brightwing and Asmodan I didn't own, but they were leveled fairly well. So I generally play people that you stick in front of me. I don't care which one of Blizzard's universes they come from. It would be nice to see a few more Overwatch ones, but that takes a little more work for them because they have an ultimate already, so they have to design what would sound like a workable second ultimate, and we see that with Zarya with one pushes out and one pulls in. So let's take a look at Valeera over here. Her Q, Sinister Strike. So she's energy based. She does not use mana. She uses energy just like a rogue in World of Warcraft, or like focus on a hunter. For new hunters used to use mana, which was a little bit different. Sinister Strike. 5-second cooldown. She dashes forward, hitting all enemies in a line for damage. If it hits a hero, she stops dashing immediately, and the cooldown is reduced to 1 second. So this can be used to engage and also can be used to get out. If she stealth, this turns into ambush, but more on that in a moment. Blade Flurry, 4-second cooldown. Deal damage in an area around her, it awards a combo point, and so does Sinister Strike. If she is stealth, it does Cheap Shot, which has been one of the world's most annoying openers from rogues in World of Warcraft. Anybody who's gone up against rogues, like in PvP and such, everybody knows how much of a pain Cheap Shot is. Eviscerate is her combo point spender. It consumes all combo points, and it deals damage per combo point spent, up to 3. So, like, you could go bang bang and get 2 right there, wait for one of them to cool, and actually they cooled about the same time, because you'd use this, which would go on 5, and then 1 second later you'd be using Blade Flurry, so they'd come up at about the same time. And if she stealth, you open with Garrote, which is a silence, and it damages enemy over time, which is technically a bleed. Smoke Bomb is one of her ultimates. Create a cloud of smoke. While in the smoke, Valeera is unrevealable, except if she melts. I happen to be watching Moonfair earlier today do some streaming with Valeera, and he mounted in his smoke, and the enemies tracked him badly and seriously kicked his ass. And he was like, what? I thought, oh, okay, I guess mounting screws that up. So she also gains armor and reduces damage taken. She can continue to attack and use abilities without being revealed for 5 seconds. If she's already stealthed or vanished, it won't break it. Or she could go with Cloak of Shadows. Valeera is enveloped in a cloak which immediately removes all dots from her. For 1 second, she becomes unstoppable and gets spell armor, reducing ability damage taken. Doesn't break, vanish. So, I've pretty much seen people going Smoke Bomb because it allows her to kind of stay in and do whatever she wants. AoE, single target, dash in, dash out. All of these are World of Warcraft abilities. Cloak of Shadows is a very well-known rogue ability. If boss or encounter debuffs are placed on a rogue, they will often say, don't worry about cleansing me, I'll cloak it. And it's generally a kind of a get out of jail free card within World of Warcraft, but here Smoke Bomb is a little bit better for that. Her D or her trait is Vanish. Every 8 seconds she can vanish from sight, becoming stealth and increasing her movement speed. For the first second she's unrevealable and can pass through other units. Using Vanish grants Valeera a different set of abilities. So, when she's stealth, you can either open up with Ambush, which is heavy damage, probably the best if you think somebody's going to die very quickly afterwards. Cheap Shot, which is a stun, very, very good. And then Garrote is a silence and a dot. Some people are saying they would like Garrote to be a little bit better. But the silence is pretty good against maybe a caster or a healer. But then again, technically a stun is a silence too. So, I don't know if they're going to maybe do different damage on the initial application. There's an energy difference, so perhaps Blade Flurry's Cheap Shot, or her W Cheap Shot, will actually do more damage than the silence and the Garrote. So looking at her skins, here are the colors of her default. So she has one that kind of reminds me a lot of one of the Li Ming ones. And then this pretty cool green and orange. I like this one a lot. That I would definitely want to push to that skin. Here is her master skin, which I believe might be the Bloodfang armor tier from World of Warcraft. I have not played a rogue since basically very, very early beta and vanilla. Wow. Bloodfang I think is a little bit different, but I think this one is heavily based on Bloodfang, and I like the first two colors and I'm not that fond of the third. I think this is what I would go for as a master, because the dagger kind of gets molten looking. And then finally we have the store skin, which is the Demon Hunter version of her, which actually changes her to a completely different class based on World of Warcraft. I would push for the final skin on this one. It looks a little Protossy, but I think that's the color variants that I would like. So let's look at her talents. Vigor, regen globes, increase max energy. Valeera regenerates an additional 2 energy per second. After gathering 20, her energy goes up to 20. Not bad. Subtlety, which is actually a rogue spec. After remaining vanished for at least 4 seconds, using Ambush, Cheap Shot, or Garrote causes Valeera to regenerate an additional 10 energy. So that's actually probably a severe DPS increase, because if she regens her energy faster and cooldowns aren't an issue, it might mean she gets more abilities in per minute. than if she had a normal regeneration rate. Combat readiness. Each combo point grants 50 physical armor against the next enemy hero basic attack, reducing the damage by 50. Probably very good with Samoros and Zoljins being around. Crippling Poison. Activate to cause Valeera's next instance of spell damage to slow enemy movement. Activating it doesn't break Vanish. So I do believe this pairs up well with any of her combo point gainers, including the W, which is an AoE, the Blade Flurry, which is an AoE. So she would be able to spread a 25% speed slow for 3 seconds to everybody if timed before Blade Flurry. So Crippling Poison, I think, is pretty good. Relentless Strikes reduces the energy cost of Sinister Strike by 10. That's her Q. Hemorrhage. Valeera's basic attacks deal 25% additional damage to enemies affected by Garrote. So if you wanted to go with Garrote openers, this is what you would do to work with it. I think this might be really good with very, very low hit point people out on the field, like Murkies and 3 Vikings. You open with Garrote, which makes sure, or like your Kalthuses and your Li Mings, you open up with the dot and silence, and then you're getting more of a return off of the dot. I would say probably very good if you were running into caster heavy meta. Initiative. Her openers, stealth openers, award 2 combo points, DPS increase, and I think if subtlety would probably pair very well with that. So another thing that she has is Wound Poison. Activate to cause Valeera's next instance of spell damage to also reduce the healing received by 50% up to 4. Doesn't break it. So, you have a crippling over here, and you have a wound over here, and just like World of Warcraft, rogues had a choice of what poison they want to apply to their blades. They could do one on one side and one on the other, so like one on the main hand, one on the offhand. And that was a big thing for rogues for many years in World of Warcraft as to what poisons they were going to run. Obviously very good if there is a healer present, maybe a little less so if there's nobody healing for the enemy team. Mutilate. Sinister Strike damage is up, but the range is decreased. Fatal Finesse. Each time Blade Flurry damages an enemy hero, its damage is increased. And if 20 heroes are damaged, permanently reduces the energy cost. Good if Samoros are running around, because his clones count. Slice and Dice. Eviscerating an enemy with 3 combo points causes the next 3 basic attacks to have their attack speed increase. Tough tier. And Assassinate deals additional damage if no other enemy heroes are within. Wow, tough to pull off there. Very situational. I would think Fatal Finesse would be really nice. Slice and Dice could also be good, but people are getting over aggressive with Valeera and staying in too long, and Slice and Dice kind of promotes that, so that might not be that good. Smoke Bomb and Cloak. Elusiveness. Her movement speed is increased while she's vanished. Ambush now has a range of 5 and teleports Valeera behind the victim. That's pretty nice. Could be dangerous, but nice. Blind. When Cheap Shot expires, the victim is blinded or strangled. Generate. Garrote reduces ability damage dealt by the victim. So she can turn off healing, she can turn off movement, and now she can weaken them. Makes her very offensively supporty. Seal Fate. Sinister Strike deals 50% additional damage and generates an additional combo point when used against silence, rooted, or stunned enemy heroes. Well, she can silence and stun on her openers, so that could be pretty cool. Rupture, Valeera's basic attacks refresh the damage over time of Garrote. So you could technically go into a Garrote build. Might be interesting to play around with. Expose Armor, this was a finisher for rogues in World of Warcraft. Eviscerating the enemy with 3 combo points causes them to lose 25 armor for 2 seconds, increasing all damage. Thistle Tea, very, very well-known rogue ability. 60-second cooldown, activate to instantly restore 100 energy, doesn't break stealth. So again, if your cooldowns are good, massive DPS increase. And then finally, Adrenaline Rush. When in the Smoke Bomb, does additional energy, enveloping shadows. When Valeera uses Vanish, she gains Cloak of Shadows. So if something was going on her, like a Gul'dan, like a Gul'dan's Corruption or something, this would be good. Night Slayer reduces the cooldown of Vanish by 3 seconds. And Cold Blood, another very well-known rogue ability. Activate to increase the damage of Valeera's next Eviscerate. Doesn't break Vanish. So, I think when I try her, I'm going to try a Poison build unless there is not a healer present. And then I might try to see what a Garrote build is like. To be honest, I see not that many clear winners over here for her. I can't really tell what I would do in my first matches. I think this one might really be a case of the community spending a week or two on her and letting math and stats dictate what is the best. But stay tuned for the channel for some Valeera in action in a match. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap it up here and purchase her. And that will wrap up the Lunar event and a Valeera first look. But before we go, I did forget something about the controversy with her when we were talking. Some people are not that happy that she's a squishy assassin, but we've had some fairly hardy assassins in a row. Some people are not happy that she's from World of Warcraft, just like a lot of others in a row. But those who are not complaining about that aspect and are WoW fans are complaining about the fact that the rogue representation is Valeera. She's the rogue in Hearthstone, so she represents the rogue class in Hearthstone. And that's perhaps why she is here. A lot of people have felt that WoW lore represents other rogues better, like Garona, who was in the movie, and possibly people from the Syndicate, the SI rogue group and everything like that. Maybe the people who helped rogues with Fangs of the Fathers back in Cataclysm and everything. So people are not that thrilled that Valeera is the rogue representation from World of Warcraft. She has not done much in the game. She showed up prior to the Wrath invasion, and for Alliance she helps root out who Onyxia is masquerading as within Stormwind. So Onyxia would transform as a human and actually just hung out in Stormwind as a regular human, and people didn't know it, and she helped expose that. But she says that she's neutral. She's neither Horde nor Alliance, as both sides have fucked her over at some point in the past. So she's getting a little bit of heat. It'll remain to be seen if people like her for her strengths. But right now, without even playing her, she does get a lot of heat for being simply who she is. So thanks for checking out the video, folks. If you played her, let me know what you think of her, and stay tuned to the channel for her and some actual gameplay. Peace out, everybody.